Yeah, the
Yeah.
gynies. The gynies.
The
And I
guy.
can't remember. Oh my gosh, I'm so upset I can't remember his name, but there was this one doctor who delivered all of us in Taka. Like, I mean, I
There's
wasn't
only
born there, but my brother had him. Oof, কি যেন নাম ছিল? DH Chaudhry. His name
Tia
is
Chaudhary is a
DH
woman,
Chaudhry.
right?
No, it's a dude. Which, by the way, how weird is that? Because I used to be so weirded out about going to a male gynecologist, and
mm-hmm.
I went to female forever. And then when I was pregnant with Isla, my doctor stopped being an OB, and she was like, "Oh, you're gonna need to switch to someone else to deliver, your child." And she's like, "I want to recommend my brother-in-law, who's really good, blah blah blah," because I was
Oh,
gonna have a C-section, and I was like, "A dude." Like, I don't you know what I mean? I was so uncomfortable with it,
Yeah.
but this guy is like chatty Cathy when he's up there. I mean, he's just like, "Yep, yep, 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 yep," and, I'm not uncomfortable at all, but it took me a long time
Oh
to
my God,
get
man or
that
woman, I'm
uncomfortable.
always uncomfortable. And then they're like, "What's your
mm.
favorite restaurant in town?" And I'm like,
Do you
"What?
do you guys ever
Why?"
get weird? Like when you're at the OB and you have to take your pants off and your undies off, and you're
Yep,
just like there, like
hiding
hiding your
all of it.
panties and
Everybody does
everything.
this. There's a lot of
And
memes
then
out there.
Mhm.
are there?
Yes.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then you have to like spread open.
on that
Like
freaking
put your
thing.
bra behind the
Yeah.
shirt. Like everything
সব
is hidden.
লুকায়-টুকায় সুন্দর করে ভাঁজ-টাজ করে তারপরে তুমি শো
The,
with
the
your
the
hoo-ha.
hypocrisy is everywhere. Not hypocrisy,
That's
the
yeah, I
double.
was gonna say, it's not
Yeah.
hypocrisy, but I think it's just being uncomfortable
Yes. It is
with it all.
uncomfortable.
What? It's like
So
you can't see
uncomfortable.
my bra, but here, look at my cervix.
Yeah. It's like my least favorite like, literally every year
Worst.
after that, I'm like, "I hate being a girl. Like, why do we have to do this?"
That's when my blood pressure goes up.
Yeah.
Like it's always high the day I go in for my checkup.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But it is funny that, yeah, predominantly there was this one male doctor in Dhaka who delivered many children.
So
Delivered me
speaking of,
too.
the same
Tia
doctor
Choudhury?
delivered
Yeah,
you?
TA Chaudhary delivered
Yeah,
me.
my
No.
brother. Mhm. He
Dhanmondi
is
se, right?
famous, man.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, that should be a question later. Is who else was delivered by this
I
guy?
know. And, like, is he still alive? I don't even know.
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably an old dude now.
So that's the other thing. I don't know how much it's changed now, but C-sections are always recommended.
mhm. In
Natural,
Bangladesh? Yes.
natural birth is not or was not common for many, 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 many years.
I've
Do
heard
you
that
know
too.
why?
Can you tell
Bolo?
me? Enlighten us.
Yes, I can tell you because they, at least when I lived in Bangladesh, they can upcharge you 30,000 taka.
That's what I thought.
I
Makes
think
sense.
at least 30 grand more to get a C-section.
Hmm. But
Oh,
they
So it
make
would
you think that
কোনো
it's
একটা
the
complication হয়ে
best.
গেছে। Mhm.
No, not even that. That's the best thing to do.
Oh, for my friends, they were always sort of like, Allah, emergency, ek bachcha's is having some
turned
struggles. We have
around.
to, yeah, we need to do
I
an
mean,
emergency C-section.
there's emergency C-sections, but my understanding is you don't even get to that point. Like,
Hmm.
আগে
some of the
থেকে।
first conversations you have is like, "Hey, we're gonna do a C-section." There is no like,
Yeah.
"I'm gonna try naturally, and if something
Right.
happens, then you
I
switch."
think is it because they can schedule it?
That
I
could be it
bet.
too. And again, we're talking about a very smaller population who can do those things. In the
Yeah.
villages, people are delivering at home naturally for the most part.
That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
At home? Allah,
Yeah, I
granola.
wanted to.
Are you surprised?
No.
Exactly. Like, I was like
No,
waiting for a
and
water birth picture or video from her.
I really, that was the plan until I got the type 1 diabetes. Then I had to move over to a high
Mm.
risk doctor. But that was initially the plan with,
For Zen?
yeah, because I wanted Azalea there. Like I wanted my family there when this
Oh my
happened.
Allah.
All the things that I like when I see that online and I'm like,
Really?
why?
Well, I wouldn't post
Maya.
it, but I mean, that is, it's so beautiful. But with Zen, what happened was because
It's
Azalea was a
not
really small,
beautiful.
well, no, it was quite painful. Azalea was a
It's a
small
great
baby.
way to ensure that she makes
She
sure
does
she
not
does not have children when she
It's
shouldn't
good
be.
birth control.
good birth control for sure. But with Zen, I had a completely unmedicated birth. which I wouldn't suggest, especially if
Yeah,
if you've got a big baby.
I did that.
And I
Oh,
almost died, literally
you guys
almost died.
both had
Unmedicated.
no, I only did because it was happening so fast. Like I
Which
went
one,
into
Yeah.
Minal or?
Minal, yeah, the older one. I went into preterm labor, very preterm. And so the doctor's like, if when it actually is going to happen, they had to stop it with medication and steroids and keep me in the hospital and all the things. But then they said, when it does actually happen at the right time, it's going to happen real fast. And it was like
Yeah.
Oh,
45 minutes to an hour from the moment my water broke at home and I got to the hospital and delivered.
That's
Like
a
it just whoosh.
blessing. That's
Yeah,
a
no
blessing.
meds. I was like, are you going to give me an epidural? And they're like rolling me down, running. I have no pants, just my shirt. And they're rolling me down in a wheelchair down the hallway in Italy.
Oh
And I'm
my
like,
gosh.
can I have an epidural? They're like, no time, no time. And the woman, we bust into the room and there's already somebody in labor. She literally walked out. Like they had to make space. There was only one place to
oh
have a
my
baby.
gosh.
She walked out, like her husband's taking all their suitcases and things and leaving as she was in labor because I was faster. And she came out like this,
Oh my gosh.
which is a good blessing.
That is a blessing for sure.
Yeah. But shit, it hurt. And you don't forget
Yeah.
the pain, P.S.
No, you don't forget the pain.
Yep,
And
you
now
have more than one.
Yeah.
Was yours the same, Maya? Like, or you
No, mine,
chose to
I
be
chose to
okay.
do unmedicated, but I had an insulin drip, but that was because there was no other
Sure.
way.
No, you have to.
But dude, man, Zen had a big head.
Oh
And
my God, poor guy.
he still has a big head.
Poor guy. More like
Poor
Maya.
mom.
Or me. Yeah, and he tore through me, man. That was awful. But
I was like, I mean, for mine, so like I was full term. Literally, on my due date, my water broke with Zane.
wow.
But then there was a point where I just wasn't dilating past like 7 centimeters.
Oof.
And no, I was like, man, give me crack cocaine, epidural, what you got? I didn't care. I was like, I just need this child
Get this out.
to be healthy, get out of my body, pump me up with everything. So then at some point, I mean, when I was just not dilating past 7 centimeters, they were like the baby's heart rate's going up, like it's in danger. And so that's when they're like, oh, we need to cut you open.
Oh,
And so it was like
That's-
it's everybody
That's
plans
scary.
their birth, and I always
Yeah.
tell everyone, don't do that because you just don't know what's going to happen.
I went to
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
doctor in Italy when I was we moved there. I was 5 months pregnant. So I'm like coming with like the American mindset.
Oh
And
my
I'm like,
God.
okay.
Music list.
Yeah.
With like a list birth
Hey.
plan.
So I'm like, so what's my birth plan? And she's like, what is this? And I'm like, this is
Ma che dici?
Yeah, and I'm like, this is my, how I want to do it, like the process, who's going to be there. And she's like, do you know how to say push? Or do you understand push? And I was like, yes. She goes, that is your birth plan.
Are you serious?
Nice.
Yes,
told
she
you.
shut that shit down. She's like, you understand push? I was like, yep. She's like, that's your birth plan. Because I was like, will the doctors know English? Will the nurses, like, how will we communicate? And she's like, push. Basta.
Basta. I mean, it's true. That's all you need to know is like, can you
Yeah.
push?
We overdo it here, I think. Not overdo it. You should be comfortable. You should be all the things. Music, whatever it is, if you have the amenities and the access to do it, it's great.
I mean,
but not
I think
necessary.
American culture is very much it's surrounded around. It's a lot around planning, right? Like everything is like you should plan everything, and there are certain things in your life you cannot
just can't
plan, and
plan.
that's
Nope.
definitely one of them. And then once you have a child, you literally can't plan your life ever again.
No.
Nope.
So, just telling all you youngins who are dreaming their wonderful weddings and marriages and having children.
Or everyone having the Nabila Noor nursery
Yeah.
baby, like coming home
The
day.
beige.
In like white clothing. That kid is going to shit up his bag and it's going to be on your car seat and one day you're going to be dropping that child off to daycare while you're supposed to go to work, and there's going to be shit everywhere, and there's shit
Yes.
on your white collar right
Yes.
here, and then all you do is you just go
Hand
in
it
the
over.
fetal position, and you just rock back and forth and gag because it stinks.
Yep,
And you just
I've had
like,
shit in my hair with
Yes.
Azalea. I've gone to the office with shit in my hair.
Mm-hmm.
and then you ask like, what do I do? Do I just like quit right now? With everything, not just my job, like
I'm
my
just
life.
going to bed.
Yeah,
Yeah, you just ride the
My
wave.
life.
it is literally the worst. And then, of course, I mean, no question, you will show up to work with spit up.
All the time.
Yeah.
And then after all of that is done, you have another one.
Yes. Because you don't learn your lesson.
Because you forget. As soon as they're like a little bit older, you're like, you completely forget. It's like amnesia.
And they're like, Mama, I love you. You're like, I want another one.
I
My uterus is
know.
hurting again.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle.
It is. So for all those people that say no one warned you, we did.
They're the best thing, but it's the hardest.
The other thing, I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but the one that nobody seems to talk about is how hard breastfeeding is.
Oh my God.
You know, you go into it thinking, oh my gosh, pop out the baby and there's just like milk flowing, right?
That's another one where everybody's like, Kano, habe na kano?
Yeah.
Or tumi ki khacho na? Aro khao. But dudh khao. My mom, she'd be like, shagu khao. Shagu khao. Kalijira to chiloi. আমাকে এরকম ডাব্বা ডাব্বা ভরে সাগু বানায়, she'd be like, সাগু খা, সাগু খা. I think I didn't lose anything after this baby. Shagu tusha খাওয়াইছে.
Wouldn't you get constipated with all that shagu?
I don't know.
I definitely, my mom gave me that too. And the
Really?
milk. They were like, oh, তুমি তো দুধ খাও না, তার জন্য তোমার
দুধ, yes. And I couldn't, but one is stress. And two, I just don't think my body just wasn't. I'm not a producer of it. It just didn't happen. Like barely. Like kono rokobe tene by 3 months. Jototuk, and I had to always do the supplementary feeding.
Me too.
Every time. Because it was so frustrating because you think you're supposed to do this. This is your job. This is your body's job. It's naturally supposed to happen. You're supposed to be, everybody's like, people need like bra pads and all these things to soak shit up. Like I could barely squeeze anything out.
Yeah. I cried over spilled milk.
Yes.
Like literally cried over spilled milk. It was
literally
half an ounce is all I made. And then I dropped one. It was like, you know, the little ones that you start with?
Yes.
And
Modelo.
Yes.
And
it is so devastating.
It is. And it's important for people to know that it is okay to supplement.
Absolutely.
It's okay
Absolutely.
to feed all formula. It's okay to breastfeed 100%. The kid just needs to be healthy.
Fed,
right?
yes, and healthy.
And I think, I don't know about your moms or, in that generation, but my understanding is many of us were actually formula fed back in the day.
I was.
Yeah, I was too.
And
my mom went back to work a month after I was born, so.
Yeah, and it seems like we are much more shamed now in this generation about breastfeeding
Do you think?
than they were. That's it sounds like, I mean, everyone, and again, like in the Bangladeshi circle, when I ask, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, formula. And it wasn't like a big deal. It didn't sound like it.
I was lactose intolerant, so I had to have like soy formula or something like this.
They had it back then?
Yeah.
Wow.
আমি এত বুড়া না ধরে পিটাবো
back then, dude. In the 1980s.
In the 1980s,
early 80s, by the way.
Let me tell you.
I want kalijira bhatta.
That was my other story.
I do not like that. It's so good.
No. When another one, like shagu. Amar amma khawaise shagu, and my ex-shashuri was very much on the kalijira.
Yeah.
And my mom is like, you don't need kalijira. And so she's like, basha ashe por ki khabi? And I said, please amake tehri banayo. I'm tehri khabo basha ashe. And she made tehri, and my shashuri was also there, and she made kalijira bhatta. And সে মাইন্ড
You had
করতেছে যে
তেহারি?
আমি কেন
Allah.
তেহেরি খাচ্ছি আর তার ভর্তা খাবো না।
Oh
So তখন
no.
ভদ্রতা করে I was like আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে। And then কালি জিরা ভর্তা দিয়ে তেহেরি মাখায় খাইছি। It was
Oh no, that
disgusting.
is all you need সাদা ভাত with that.
You
Yeah.
don't need it. Nobody needs.
No, I agree with
Nasty.
like Maya.
I love
I do
kalajira.
like it, but I can't have too much of it. But it's got to be with just সাদা ভাত and
Sada
that.
bhat.
My mom was like, আমাদের নবী কিন্তু কালো জিরা খেত।
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Every day 5টা করে খাবা বুঝছো? Like, you know, that was her
Like the
whole thing.
seeds. Like
Yeah,
pachta
yeah.
seeds kaba.
Yeah,
It's
you
supposed
just
Well,
to
yeah,
be
it's supposed to be
superfood.
good. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and it is incredibly good for you.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, that was the whole আমাদের নবী খেত।
But
So,
dude, I gotta say, both of you, I feel like it made me a little jealous because you had that support. I didn't even have that.
That's
My
true.
mom came and spent like 3 days with the baby because she came when she had her break from work.
yeah.
And then my shashuri was there. She was there kind of in and out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I had to do it all by myself,
That's
Yeah.
hard.
as
That's
I
the
still
one.
do.
Yeah, I think the one
I'm just all by
and she still
myself.
does.
Always. Yeah.
She's like she
Yeah.
still does that. The one benefit of my parents not living here is that when they come for a longer period of time. So yeah, like after I had both my kids, my mom stayed with me for at least 2 months or so.
Oh,
So that's like a huge benefit. But then and then it's like, okay, I don't see her for like years, and my kids know them through FaceTime. But
Mm.
yeah, it is nice. That is
Yeah,
nice.
we're very lucky. At one point, it was
Mhm.
both of them, which
did
has
you
its
guys
pros
have
and
like a
cons.
sorry, go ahead.
No, that's
I'm
all.
interjecting. I wanted to ask if either of you had a change in the relationship you had with your moms after you had kids.
Well, I can tell you, I almost killed my mom like week 1 of her being there.
What?
Like when she put like a glass of milk on the counter and was like, "Hey," and it was like it's like passive man, and it's not like she wouldn't say anything, just she would just leave it there, and I knew what was happening. I just knew what was happening. You know, the passive aggressive, like I'll just leave it here, and then I'm like, "এটা কিসের জন্যে?" "না মা, তুমি না একটু বেশি করে একটু দুধ খাও না তো?" And she
They
just
mean
lies there.
well all the
Yeah.
time.
Oh
Aww.
my gosh, my mom and I have a very interesting relationship because I love her so much that like she triggers me the most. And
Yeah.
everything she says or does will trigger me. And so like my poor husband was like Switzerland in our house because he would come up to me and be like, Amu is crying. She said she wants me to book her a ticket to leave tomorrow. She said you don't want her here. I mean, it was always
আমি
like
থাকবোই না।
থাকবোই না। আরেকদিন হলো কি my favorite all-time dish is fulkopi and mach. Like
The rui
and
mach
the
and
lomba
the
aloo.
jhol.
Like and you gotta
Yes.
cut the aloo lomba. Like anybody that knows me knows this.
Favorite.
And I mean, this is like just postpartum. I'm hormonal, and she made it, but like she left. I don't know. It was something ridiculous. Like she left the fulgobi out, or like she didn't cut the aloo. I don't even know. It sounds so bitchy right now, but I lost it.
Oh no.
I was like, you know, I don't like blah blah blah, and that's exactly what how she made it. I was like, and yeah, she
Oh.
was ready to get on a plane the next day. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question, Maya. Like, has my perspective changed because now I'm a mother and I understand some of the
Yeah.
reasons behind her decisions or how she raised us? Like, I definitely do, and I do
I'll
understand
admit some and not
sacrifices.
admit others.
Right.
I think my relationship changed. I became more open. I think it was just more of like sharing more things, or I rely on her for like if the kids get sick or if I'm anxious about things, I feel more open to share with her because I feel like she's definitely brings a sense of calm.
Mhm.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. But I
That's
don't think I would have done that before.
because I feel like typically the mothers are more stressed out than you are about certain things, you know, and you're just like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
my
I don't
mom's
even want
not
to
like
tell her.
that.
That's really,
No.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, she's not like she's very level-headed for most things. She doesn't panic or freak out.
Because with me, like if something happens, I don't tell my mom until it's all done with and everything's fine. Then I might tell her, you know. Otherwise, like she will be freaking out, and then she'll call her siblings. And then it comes back to me. Another person's calling. Like, I heard. I'm like, oh my gosh! Like, this
Yeah.
literally happened 2 minutes ago. How has it already traveled all across the U.S. and my mom was in Dhaka, man? Yeah, I mean, we had a horrible situation where something happened, and my phone butt dialed my mom, and she could hear us freaking out. And then I was just like, I'll call you back, like, something happened. And she then called her
Everybody.
sister and her brother.
Because
Then they
she's so
called.
far away.
Yes, and it's
Yeah, that's the
horrific
only
to think
way.
about how far you are and something happens. And then they called their kids, my cousins, and then they're texting me being like, what happened? And I'm
Oh,
like, how did
shit.
this already reach?
Just all from a butt dial.
Just a butt dial. I mean, it was a pretty serious situation that happened, but yeah. So I was like, oh my God. What
Because
about
you're
you,
so far
Maya?
away.
Yeah, it's hard.
I don't know. I think when Azalea was born, I had a lot of resentments and a lot of I think a lot of stuff surfaced for me, of
Yeah.
abandonment and
Hmm.
yeah. So it took a lot of therapy for me to get over that. And also to see her for who she is
Yeah.
and the fact that she did her best with whatever she had. And we had to come to that understanding. But when Zen was born, I think I had already kind of crossed that bridge. And I feel like that's the thing that happens when you use your feelings and you can kind of sit with the uncomfortable feelings. It eventually kind of alchemizes into something that's a little bit more healing, a little bit more palatable for us. So once that happened, so when Zen was born, I was much more open to receiving what she had to, give me at that point as a
Yeah.
mom. So it transformed with the second baby.
Yeah.